With this, we would like to request Singh Jaini to have a session with us on Vision 2030, Crafting the Future of Financial Services. Embark on a visionary journey as our speaker session explores the future of financial services. Join us as our expert unveils strategic insights and disruptive innovations set to redefine the financial landscape over the next decade. Gain exclusive access to foresight's trend and actionable strategies that will shape the future of finance. Mr. Singh, stage is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you. I think one of the thought process I carried with this particular presentation was to give you a view on what we see happening in future and what are the ideas. Can we please settle down, please? Just request to settle down. Guys, can we please settle down? It'll help. So yeah, so I was coming about the innovations and challenges and opportunities. I think I'll skip this slide. I've not got a chance to introduce myself, so I'll skip it here as well. How many of you know me personally? Anybody who knows me? Some guys know, so I'll not disturb your time more and I'll go straight to the topic. But generally, if you look at, as an organization, we are into trainings. We used to be in a lot of trainings earlier, but we are largely into consulting. We work with banks, we work with NBFCs, we work with a lot of VCs in their due diligence, identification of startups, and a lot of work around that, right? And we work with tons of guys. So our aspiration is to become the largest player in the BFSI space on the consulting side. So that's the space we want to occupy, and that's the intent, right? So I think my request is if you guys can be a bit slightly moving, yeah? It's very awkward for everybody else to be behind you and not being able to make it up, okay? So I think what we see, first thing first, we see that DPI will keep scaling up. So it's there, it's helpful, and it'll continue to grow. Fintechs are showing the way, which means that a lot of time, I mean, maybe if you look at 6 years, 5 years, 8 years back, there'll be a lot of discounting done for fintechs, right? Or either it's a glamorous work, or it's actually waste of time. Which either way, fintechs took all the risks and built some stack and built some processes out there. And they did the way, right? So I think if you look at it, they made mistakes. Some of them have grown really well. But interestingly, banks learned from that as well. So this journey has continued. Now NBFCs are catching up. If you look at Aditya Birla, if you look at Credit Suisse, they have the tech now, which is at par or at times beyond even the banks and fintech. So NBFCs were supposed to be laggards. They wouldn't do anything. Now that's changed dramatically, right? The market is dramatically different. And of course, we heard from Sekhar a lot about how banks and fintechs are partnering, right? I think that is also a good positive state of mind, which we are seeing. Now, moving here, where do we go? Now, digital public infrastructure will keep growing, right? It'll move to the next level and next level and next level. So it's not going to stop. We are in a world where the government moves faster than fintechs. Just think about it. ONDC itself is not more than maybe a year and a half or two old, right? Max. And in that period, they have been able to reach out to all locations. They have been able to roll out betas in so many places. And they are doing transactions in millions, right? And if you do believe that some of the deliveries have happened slightly off, just BRB that they're moving that fast. I think that's a good growth we see in the market, right? We also see integrated lending stacks coming up, right? I think we see that tech stacks used to be LOS, LMS, this, that. But I think what we see is dramatic improvement in that side, and especially for MSMEs. MSME is a segment which had the worst experience till date. How many of you are MSMEs here? Okay. No MSMEs here. Okay. All fintechs are also MSMEs when they're not funded. Okay. So don't. I mean, MSME is an abuse, so nobody wants to have that one, right? So anyway, so MSMEs के लिए काफी काम हो रहा है, and I do believe that stacks, that processes will come up and will change the market. I also believe that account aggregator over maybe next few years will at least get 70% coverage. Just imagine UPI reached 30 crore customers and changed everything. Even if it reaches 70-80% of coverage, it will be great. Today, the coverage will be around 2.5%. There are 3 crore customers. But I don't know how many of you seen the steep growth, right? That's happening. Agri infrastructure is coming up, right? And I think we saw a lot of work which RBIH is doing. We also saw a lot of other entities building it up. So I do believe that agri stack, or even I heard about government building it up. So government is building stacks around agri. I know that cooperative frameworks are also coming up. DPDP is any which way as an act is already there. We have seen what it is. And get stricter and stricter from there. Now, if you build कि यार कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता, arbitrage कर जाएंगे, कुछ भी हो जाएगा, कुछ नहीं होने वाला, you will get caught. So please start with compliance first. Innovation is critical, but not in an environment where the long rope, which I think we heard from the leadership from RBI, is long rope cannot be that long, right? We really can't play with it. So we need to be conscious about that. And technically, we talk so much about AIML and all of that, but we are also cognizant that all of that will also get regulated rather fast. We need to be cognizant and we need to be ultra careful about it as we grow forward, right? Now, as I spoke about, banks have learned digital from fintechs. So to that action, I think this is a statement I am openly making in front of you that we believe that in next 7 to 10 years, every journey in a bank, on retail and MSME, unsecured, secured, deposit, any kind will be fully digital. That's it. Beyond that, if you think that will continue, kuch nahi hoga, 30%. Now, it is still that branches mein some people will come. That's called optionality. You can't say that I will not allow customer to walk in. That's not correct. That's absurd. But you will allow that to happen. So I think banks have learned customers are anyway digital, right? So they will not treat you well if you don't. And open banking and embedded finance is no longer a subject of innovation. It's there. It's there at scale. What we have seen is that we spoke about getting digital on the MSME and retail side. We also see that secured side work has started happening. We know that right now land records are also getting digitized. There's a lot of work happening on that side. Agri infra, as I spoke about, is growing. Regulatory framework is going to get tightened and tightened. So anybody taking any recall on that, saying, "Baad mein dekh lenge," मैं अभी भी बोल रहा हूँ, मत करो. A lot of people get very irritated when I come on board as a consultant. We start with the compliance first thing, dekh lo, galti nahi karte. If we have to create a separate entity, we need to take off compliances. We do upfront, no jokes, no processes कि यार बाद में देखेंगे. As I said, that branches will be turned completely into support shops, nothing more than support shops. Branches are going to be pure support setups in next 6 to 8 years. So skills required, they'll be slightly different than what exists today. It will not be as salesy as we think as of now. This also means that the roles and responsibility, we'll take a session tomorrow on the roles of employees. That's going to be dramatically different. Workforce will be completely different. So I'm not trying to say that jobs will not get lost. Look, a lot of jobs will get lost. I'm being very open about it. But that's about specific types. We do believe that there will be certain types of roles which will scale, which will be more complicated. Standard roles, let's say if you're doing sales for account opening, may not exist itself, right? Because this will be cost prohibitive for you to get there. Unsecured lending, there was so many jobs which will obviously coming down as customers got digital, right? So that's what it is. There'll be a lot of focus on platforms, retail MSME platforms. Legacy banks will actually largely move to the next level. Cost income ratios will change. Now, what would it mean? I mean, this is one part I just don't know how to get that answer out to you, or how do you understand. Everybody who has gone digital has not added or reduced the cost to the customer. Okay? That has not happened. Because we are adding to the top line and bottom line is improving, but that's not gone. So I personally believe, and our company believes that gap which exists today will start going back to the customer. So when we say my name is that much, that will start coming down because some of the leaders will start distributing it back to the customers. And that distribution change will dramatically impact those who have not gone digital at all, because cost and commercial will change for these entities. And we've seen it. I will not give examples right now, right here, but a lot of banks have experienced the improvement overall. We spoke about it, or maybe you will hear about, we have released a report on enterprise fintechs, which we have done with Charatai. It's available. We will be releasing it soon online as well. But largely what we are saying, banks are obviously turning and banking away from banks is normal. Mobile banking dynamics is over. Everybody's looking at acquiring customers through that, not just servicing. Open source and cloud is obviously normal. But interestingly, people will go for dual core. They have no choices to make because changing the entire bank is going to be very, very difficult. And I tell you that I used to, in one point in time, I have done maybe 20 years back, I did a dual core in my bank. It was done maybe in maybe 6 to 9 months. If we had to do everything up and running, I would have died doing it. So 6 months you could do it, not that way. Cooperative banks will go digital. I think a lot of entities are now building for it. So my suggestion is that as transparency and RBI is also pushing for them to become a small finance bank, you should see movement there. CRM has remained under-penetrated product right now in the market. I think for multiple reasons. Maybe it is also because we don't have a industry-leading platforms out there. So maybe that's the change which will happen over a period of time. Digital trade finance, I think trade finance has not happened at all. And that was a gap which we want to look at it. Even today, trade finance has remained what it was 10, 20 years back. And maybe no fintech, a lot of people will say fintech is my IQ. They can't do it. They don't have that regulatory leverage at all, right? So why would they go there? So it's largely not really improved. Lending tech, a lot of work has happened. So one request I have, I want all of you to understand, is that when we say banks may beach में co-lending platform, then NBFC, embedded platforms and fintechs, there are a lot of stacks there. Every layer requires different stack, and everybody is going to spend money on that. There's tremendous amount of money in lending available now because what was one layer has become 3 to 4 layers. You have bank tech, you have partner tech, and you have a co-lending stack there, and then you have a mid layer which is actually scaling up. Then on top of that, you have NBFC, and NBFC may be partnering with somebody else. So same money requires more stack tech now to scale up. Co-lending में improvement होगा. Growing credit we have seen. Full stack MSME, the lending platforms will come. Secure lending I spoke about. Debt collections का ज़्यादा काम नहीं हुआ है. It's not a very sort of interesting world at all. It's boring world, right? So not much work has happened. So that's going to see traction. BREs में improvement होगा. Even now we are depending on very few BREs, and many of them are slightly classically old, right? वही चल रहे हैं 10 साल 20 साल से. LOS, LMS improve हो गए, but BREs change नहीं हुए. I think that's something which we should see. And BREs will start failing because of DPI and other data sources being made available. For example, RBI is working on initiative to provide you more data. That data is going to be consumed. And how do you consume with archaic systems? So that's what's going to happen as well. Payment में simple है. There are too many payment systems now. Now, how do you orchestrate those many payment systems? Very, very difficult. So work has to be done there. You may need a payment hub. Cash management has remained archaic. I mean, where is the cash? Why are we doing cash management right now? So cash management stacks are like मैंने 1930 में बनाया था, उसी को चला रहा हूँ, right? Many of them are using an old stack. Anybody who's using right now old stack on cash management? या कोई बताना नहीं चाहता? Okay, your providers are also here. Okay, don't tell me that. So anyway, so cash management has to be rebuilt because everything is digital. So why are we talking about cash management at all? You need some orchestration layer, which will control processes end to end. And maybe you need deep integration with banks and all of them. Cross-border has remained unresolved, so that's work happening there. And last piece, I didn't speak at all about pure fintechs, right? And I think I have a view that the days of early stage, I'm also doing AML-based unsecured lending for general public is over. Okay, that is dead. So what we will need to do is identify a pool of area where you can actually build for it. So we believe that regulatory arbitrage is anyway gone, and the tech stack jo bhi issues the, that is also gone. So what we will see is that larger players out there will continue to scale up, and they'll be regulated all the while. I think any kind of entity who believes they will not be under regulation, I think they are in for a trouble. Everybody will get regulated. I'll be very happy if the TSPs are not regulated, but otherwise everybody else will be regulated. That's very clear. Even TSPs may, because they run a lot of business Any M&As will happen, so a lot of exits you should see, which is positive for the market as well. I was looking at the 2018 ecosystem, which showed me so many companies got acquired and so many guys got sort of big, and some of them obviously got close. So market will evolve, but M&As are about to happen. Niche-specific growth will happen. So you want to do something on cross-border, you want to do something on, let's say, MSME, all of that is possible. B2B में बहुत काम हो सकता है. B2C में generic onboarding journeys and I am building for unsecured. I think that those days are over. With this, I pause and I'll come back with more sessions tomorrow, but I think that's all I had for today. I think over to you, and we look forward to the next interesting session. I'm really, really eager to see what Ramesh has to offer here. Thank you. Thank you, Ramesh.
Thank you, Mr. Samir.